In Jeremiah chapter 43, after receiving the prophecy from Jeremiah regarding the people's future in Judah, the people of Judah refused to heed God's instructions. Led by Johanan, the son of Kareah, and other influential leaders, they stubbornly reject the message that God gave through Jeremiah. They accuse Jeremiah of lying and falsely claiming that God did not want them to flee to Egypt. They argue that it was not the Lord who spoke but Baruch, Jeremiah's scribe, who was inciting rebellion and seeking to bring them into the hands of the Babylonians. Despite this resistance, the people, including the women and children, decide to leave for Egypt. Johanan and the leaders take the entire group to the city of Tahpanhes in Egypt, contrary to God's command. Jeremiah, in obedience to the Lord, follows them to Egypt, where God speaks again through him. In this new location, God tells Jeremiah to take large stones and bury them in the brick pavement near the entrance of Pharaoh's palace, symbolizing that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, would come to Egypt and set his throne on these stones as a sign of God's judgment. God also pronounces judgment upon Egypt, foretelling that Nebuchadnezzar would invade the land, defeat the Egyptians, and kill many of them. The Babylonian king would take Egypt's people as captives, and the land would be desolate. Jeremiah declares that the king of Babylon would not only conquer Egypt but also its gods, as God will display his power over all nations. This is a part of God's broader plan to show his sovereignty over all the kingdoms of the earth. The chapter ends with Jeremiah's prophetic warning about the futility of relying on Egypt for protection, emphasizing that God's judgment is certain and that no one can escape his will. Those who fled to Egypt in defiance of God's word would face destruction, and the land of Egypt would be humbled under the rule of Babylon. The chapter serves as a strong reminder that disobedience to God leads to consequences, and that even mighty nations like Egypt cannot resist his will. Let's now read Jeremiah chapter 43. And it came to pass, that when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking unto all the people all the words of the Lord their God, for which the Lord their God had sent him to them, even all these words. Then spake Azariah the son of Hoshea, and Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the proud men, saying unto Jeremiah, Thou speakest falsely, the Lord our God hath not sent thee to say, Go not into Egypt to sojourn there. But Baruch the son of Neriah setteth thee on against us, for to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they might put us to death, and carry us away captives into Babylon. So Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces, and all the people, obeyed not the voice of the Lord, to dwell in the land of Judah. But Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces, took all the remnant of Judah, that were returned from all nations, whither they had been driven, to dwell in the land of Judah. Even men, and women, and children, and the king's daughters, and every person that Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard had left with Gedaliah the son of Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the prophet, and Baruch the son of Neriah. So they came into the land of Egypt, for they obeyed not the voice of the Lord, thus came they even to Tahpanhes. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah in Tahpanhes, saying, Take great stones in thine hand, and hide them in the clay in the brick kiln, which is at the entry of Pharaoh's house in Tahpanhes, in the sight of the men of Judah. And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will send and take Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon, my servant, and will set his throne upon these stones that I have hid, and he shall spread his royal pavilion over them. And when he cometh, he shall smite the land of Egypt, and deliver such as are for death to death, and such as are for captivity to captivity, and such as are for the sword to the sword. And I will kindle a fire in the houses of the gods of Egypt, and he shall burn them, and carry them away captives, and he shall array himself with the land of Egypt, as a shepherd putteth on his garment, and he shall go forth from thence in peace. He shall break also the images of Bethshemesh, that is in the land of Egypt, and the houses of the gods of the Egyptians shall he burn with fire. This ends our reading of Jeremiah chapter 43.